So I do occasionally get the comment that things along the lines of, "You're really, really clever, but I don't find this funny at all." Which is fine. I think there isn't an episode. I only mention it because if there is a single episode that exemplifies me being clever because I like to be clever, and that taking precedence over people finding it funny, this is certainly the one that does that the most. Not least of all with this introduction here, which is just basically Sophia telling everybody off. Yeah, that has always been my MO for making these is, I'm gonna do what I find funny, and I invite you to share my madness or not. Like that title. No one's gonna get that title, because it's like a third. The song playing is the arrival of the Queen of Sheba. Except, never mind. It's too much to explain. And this entire little thing with with Commander Nestor there. It's so incredibly fun to do this Russian accent or just generally Slavic accent. I can actually sort of add a little bit more than whatever. In fact, I could do entire commentary with this accent, but I'm not going to. The point is, I love doing that accent, so I just had to give this entire scene in the show maybe takes a minute. In a minute, somehow Sophia is able to negotiate without really exerting any leverage whatsoever. Is able to just generally put herself right at the top of the power structure of the entire world. Like, Dizzt just completely and utterly folds before her, for no good reason either. So I just had to extend it a bit to give it a very good reason. Which is that she's clever enough to realize they've overextended themselves, and, but obviously it's not exactly funny unless you have the sort of dark and twisted sense of humor that I do. Hence the faux naughty limerick that actually turned out not to be naughty or even really a limerick. Although it does have the pacing of a limerick if you read it all out. It's got the right number of beats for a limerick, though it does not rhyme. So, there you go. It's basically the first 3 minutes, no joke. Yeah. I don't even apologize for it. So again, I invite you to share my madness, which again is pretty basically where this is derived from. Again, to anyone who has not seen the series, the lame goat was never alive, and so it never dies. It just sort of goes away in the last few episodes, which is why I caused it to become dead. It's over-laming. This is, of course, A Brave New World. It's standard reading here in Canada. If you go to high school, you will read it. So, it's not even really a terribly obscure reference for me, although it's probably... I don't know if that's the case anywhere else, but...
Hey, Ralph, you want to throw me a bone here?
Yeah, we all read that book.
So how did you survive that explosion, anyway? How do you think? I
This
don't know. Curved nature of
space-time. I didn't want to come up with an excuse for why I made this Ralph and not Ralph's brother. I don't even know if he got a name, if it's ever said out loud. But anyway, I thought it would be funnier to have him somehow miraculously survive. He doesn't actually miraculously survive, although, having them randomly run into a look-alike brother is a little bit of a tawdry device, I think. So, hence why I had to sort of convert that as much as possible. Alright, if you don't know who Douglas Haig is, seriously, do a Google search of Douglas Haig. The man was a retard. Seriously makes batshit Thane look smart.
from now on. Oh, it's no Christ-forsaken use, so it isn't.
An incredibly upsetting joke, and both because he's contemplating suicide, and second of all from the description of what it would be like. But I think this is the part where pretty much anyone can get the jokes, starting about halfway through. So brilliant pacing on my part. But again, that, by the way, if you're too lazy to slow it down, says subliminal transition in that little flash.
That's true. I can't even see one.
But this whole section, as soon as I decided that Mullen was going to be the token, completely and utterly ineffectual guy, I had this scene planned out from basically episode 5 for how I was going to deal with Mullen meeting Dunya here in a second. And again, Full Metal Jacket.
This is my musket. There are many like it.
Everyone uses the training from Full Metal Jacket. It's so brilliant. And that's
Shut your filthy ineffectual pie holes, you
only 2 things come from Texas: steers and queers. There are no cows, so yeah. That's the music. It's the love theme from Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet score. So yeah. A little sound clip from Full Metal Jacket, seeing as I made the Full Metal Jacket. Seemed oddly applicable, what with the Eskimo-type coats that the Ditheth wear. I love Lavi's commentary in this. Unfortunately, Lavi gets so few lines in these episodes, she sort of takes a backseat to everyone else's story, and it's so disappointing, because there's nothing I can't... And I can say anything in that voice and make it hilarious. At least in my own way of thinking. And it comes out like extra sarcastic. I know a lot of male abridgers hate their female voices. I love doing my crappy female voices. I just think it fits the characters so well. You know, you're a complete hack, honey, don't you? And so on. And like this one time at Fanship Camp? I can go on. But I won't. Have you ever heard the wolf cry? Nah.
Sound. Oh, hey, Alex.
I love this scene, too.
You've been drinking again? The taste
I don't even know what the hell Alex is saying. To write all these Alex lines, I wrote the lines out for what he says, and then I systematically took words in different bits of the sentence and physically shifted them around, like put all the words written out on a desk and then shuffled them around until they made completely no sense but still had the same words. I think he's saying something there to the effect of at least Scotch will never abandon me. Something to that effect. That as soon as I saw that scene, I knew how I was going to deal with the lame goat going away. And, this I will apologize if anyone was offended by this, because it was never my intention to be offensive in taking the Lord's Prayer. Just to give the ceremony of the lame goat's death the trappings of spirituality. And then obviously I have... So I knew it was possible that people would be offended, but the reasoning behind it was for that.
It seems to be scattering rosebuds.
I said if I was Jewish, I would use some Jewish thing, Muslim, some Muslim thing, but I know the Christian stuff. So.
Sir? All latteries bowed with intelligently propelled Pitterary-Leersing shells. Ship the Maestro's target. I can't understand what you're saying, sir.
I love Campbell's line and look on his face there. It just cracks me up. Clearly. And, that Doppler thing is taken from Warcraft 3. If you keep clicking on the gnomish gyrocopter, you will get him to say that.